Hey everyone, welcome. As of recording this video, Humankind's release date is about 2.5 weeks out, and I honestly couldn't be more excited. I never really expected to be someone putting videos on YouTube, but I just enjoyed my experience with the game so much that I just really felt compelled to do it. I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and what to expect on the channel when the game actually releases. So my real name is Dustin. I've gone by Colonel Uber really for as long as I can remember, though. I've been playing strategy games since I was about 4 years old when my dad brought home the original Age of Empires. And we even played board games of different complexities, from things like Stratego and chess to Axis and Allies. And I've been hooked on historical strategy games ever since. I've played several of the Amplitude games in the past, but none have really grabbed me quite as much as Humankind. I mentioned Axis and Allies before because for a long time it was my absolute favorite game. Every time my dad and I played, our strategies really changed and evolved, and coming up with a new idea and seeing your opponent pursue a different strategy and watching how those strategies affected the game was really my favorite part. And Humankind isn't so different from that. The array of strategies that you can pursue is really enormous relative to some of the other games in the 4X genre, thanks to the culture system. And I think that's what I find so exciting about the game. Naturally, when the game comes out, I'm going to be posting some live pre-recorded gameplay. But I also plan to live stream here on YouTube on Tuesday, August 17th and Wednesday, August 18th at noon in US Eastern Time. I'll be diving straight into Humankind difficulty on release, that's the highest difficulty, and I suspect I'll probably lose a few games, but that's okay. Losing is part of the learning process, and it's something that a lot of content producers don't show. But learning from a loss is how you get better, and seeing the mistakes that someone else has made is going to help you avoid those mistakes in your own games. And this is something that goes for my pre-recorded videos as well as my live gameplay. More than that, though, it'll allow me to discover the game and changes made to it since the beta, and have some discussions with anyone who might be interested. I'll also plan on releasing a guide that covers all the basics of Humankind sometime around August 21st. I just need a little bit of time to capture some footage and verify that there haven't been any major changes to core mechanics since we last played the game, and update a few notes I have on some of the changes that might have been implemented since the last time we saw it in open beta. Going beyond release, when we think about what I really wanted out of a YouTube channel, the number one thing was a discussion of strategy. When I see YouTube channels for a lot of games that I enjoy, from Paradox games to Civilization, whatever, they may have very high production values sometimes, with these short cuts that constantly keep the audience interested. You'll see the person accomplishing these really cool feats with what seems to be very little effort a lot of the time. And you might want to accomplish these same things for yourself, but find that you can't really reliably achieve those same goals. While I enjoy those channels for what they are, what I personally miss from these kinds of videos is really lifting the curtain to see how someone actually gets to where they are. All those little decisions that they make that get to their objective and why they made those decisions. Well, it may seem easy sometimes when you're looking at their videos. The reality is that it's often 6 or 8 or 10 hours of gameplay that's getting condensed down into this 20 or 30-minute video segment. And it's difficult to replicate things and get similar results because you can't see all the steps or understand all the minor decisions that they made along the way. So what I hope to do instead is provide a twofold discussion of strategy. First is really theoretical. You've probably seen this with my tier lists already, where I was thinking about how cultures combine, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and so on. But in order to think in the theoretical, you need to have some experience with the practical as well, and the full release of the game will undoubtedly shake that up. So the second component of strategy is the practical component, taking a look into those little gameplay decisions that you make on each turn that will ultimately help you win the game, and facing the reality of in-game constraints that may prevent you from choosing theoretically optimal paths. These discussions will come from both gameplay videos where I'm actively making choices that allow me to explain why I'm making a choice, as well as in non-gameplay videos where I'll be discussing the different ways you can think about the game and the different decisions that you can make. I'll also be uploading some full pre-recorded games where I implement these types of discussions during the game as I continue to play, as well as occasionally during live streams as well, where it will allow me to interact with the audience on a more personal basis. My videos are undoubtedly going to be a little bit longer than your average YouTuber to some extent, but I really hope that everyone comes away from those videos with something that will help them improve their gameplay. I like to foster an open community with a lot of discussion, and my hope is that I get to learn a lot from you as well, through comments, live stream chats, other YouTube content, and so on. Things are going to be quiet for a couple weeks while we wait for release, but once the game is out, I do look forward to comparing notes, sharing strategies, and telling our own stories of humankind. See you then.